breathwork shows the patterns that you don't even know that you have. In the altered state, you're going to see patterns that evolve that you didn't even know that you had issues with.
Welcome to Head for Wellness. Join us as we explore groundbreaking paths in mind-body health by featuring insights and innovations that are helping people lead healthier, happier lives, thanks to cutting-edge developments in the field of behavioral health. In this episode of Head for Wellness, we sit down with Lisalee Loew, founder of the Integrative Breathwork program at FHE Health. We will take a deep dive into the healing properties of integrative breathwork, the mystery, the phenomena, and the spiritual aspects. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, how are you?
Good. What first drew you into integrative breathwork?
Well, I guess it really is a personal story where I was suffering from complex grief disorder, and I was in a 12-step program. And although the 12-step program was really helping me with my own recovery, it was not helping me with my grief. And a friend of mine told me about breath work, and the first thing I heard was like, oh, they want me to go to yoga for my grief. But I did one breath work session and it completely changed my life.
So it was life-changing?
It was life-changing, so much to the fact where I changed my entire career.
What does a session of breath work actually look like?
Well, it's usually a 90-minute session, and the client or the patient comes in. I do a little bit of an assessment. I find out what they want to work on, what their intention is to release out of the session itself. And then they sit in a chair, and then I teach them a pattern of breathing, which helps them to relax the body. They're getting 3 times more the oxygen, so the nervous system settles down, and then they go into a non-ordinary state of consciousness, which is called the theta state.
What type of release, what does that look like when someone has that sort of a release?
Well, you know that they're having a release because you can tell, the body is telling me everything. As they're breathing, I can see how relaxed they're getting. And then I can also detect what's going on in the mind just by them smiling or emoting or asking me questions, or sometimes the body will shake a little bit because the nervous system is trying to get back to its original state. So it's, what I call the shimmy and shake, sort of getting the nervous system regulated.
So that's getting back to the original state, like before the trauma,
yes,
or before the dysregulation?
Yes, before the dysregulation, because a lot of people that I deal with have anxiety disorders, PTSD, nervous system disorders. So when they start to breathe, the body can finally release without the ego mind in the way.
And you had mentioned to me earlier that the conscious mind will never let the subconscious mind go to where it would be too traumatizing or where you can't get.
Actually, it's the opposite. I don't know about another trauma modality, but I know that I have breathed with people that had tremendous amount of childhood trauma, deployments, police officers, stood on the pile of 9/11, and when I breathed with them, they were just seeing, beautiful skies, squirrels, and rainbows. That, to me, is an indicator that the subconscious mind is just not ready for the conscious mind to deal with that. So we don't go around and poke around where we don't belong. We just allow the breath to happen. If something bubbles up, then we deal with it as it bubbles up. And then you can have another client that is just ready to reconcile what they need to reconcile with. Now they're in, a substance abuse facility where they can sober up. But once they sober up, guess what happens? All those grief feelings start to arrive and they don't know what to do with it. So when they come into the chair and they're laying in the chair, all of a sudden they're emoting, they're feeling the grief, but in a very safe and gentle way. And they're gonna tell you, if they don't feel safe, they'll say no. Because also breath is sort of like a truth serum, believe it or not. They're just gonna tell you the truth. 90% of the time they're just going to say, oh, feel good, or can I stop for a minute just to collect myself, or if they feel safe, yes, I feel safe. And that's what the eye cover and for the head is, and also the blankets. The blankets, it's not that they need to be warm, it's more for comfort, to make them feel safe and secure in the chair.
You've described it before as a spiritual experience in many ways, and I definitely had a spiritual experience. How does that happen, and it's different for everyone?
I think it's interesting because it's almost like the breath knows exactly what to do. It uses what you believe to open you up, to open up your heart chakra, to open up yourself to the universal mode. But there is a sense that you are dealing with oneness in breath work, whatever that means for that person.
Do you notice that people get results that are life-changing even after just one experience?
Oh, absolutely. I had one. I changed my entire career after one experience. We recommend 10 to 12 sessions, but we try to get them as much as we can. Sometimes I can only do 5 because people discharge, some people 10. It really depends on their length of stay and how long they can stay here and whatnot.
What advice would you give to someone who is trying breath work for the first time?
To be open and try not to have any preconceived ideas on what they think it is. Just to come in with an open mind and an open heart. That, believe me, that gives you the best results.
And how do we measure the results of someone who's had breath work or multiple sessions?
You will know. You will know. There's really no measuring stick, but the client or the patient will absolutely know. They will feel the change from the inside out.
I think breathwork solves, and problems probably isn't the right word, but breathwork solves problems for people that they don't even realize they have.
Exactly. And also breathwork shows the patterns that you don't even know that you have.
And in this room, everyone will have such an individualized
experience. That's what's so beautiful about it.
Such a beautiful gift. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
Head for Wellness is made possible by FHE Health. To learn more, go to FHEHealth.com/headforwellness.